Welcome to Connection Ministries Summer Friendship Gathering Training Series for Volunteer. This episode explains the importance of registration.
Thank you for your willingness to help with your congregation's Summer Friendship Gathering. We appreciate your willingness to review these training materials. This episode explains the importance of early registration prior to the event, and you will also better understand which participants and volunteers need to register, those who do not, and the process for background screens. Typically, when I start talking about applications and criminal background screens, some people's eyes will glaze over. I get it. It is hard to get group homes to return their applications, and some volunteers may not understand why it is important. Churches and Christian organizations are all too often in the headlines because individuals who are considered vulnerable didn't receive proper care. Some were even abused. It is important that we protect the people we are serving. It is important that our friendship groups protect our friends with disabilities, their churches, their volunteers, and Connection Ministries from any hint of criminal negligence or abuse. Everyone who is involved in a gathering comes from one of 5 groups, and these groups include our friends with disabilities, their families, direct support staff, registered volunteers, and support volunteers. Many of our friends with disabilities will also be involved with the church's friendship group. However, they are encouraged to invite friends from their homes where they work and other social groups. Families of our friends with disabilities and direct support staff are also encouraged to participate in all aspects of the gathering. It is our hope they will find Christian community in your church with a great deal of encouragement. They can also help you with some communication and personal care needs. The registered volunteers are mostly the leaders and volunteer companions from the weekly friendship group. Registered volunteers can also be members from the church who want to learn more about the friendship ministry and choose to serve where they would be interacting with our friends with disabilities. Support volunteers will be filling a variety of roles that provide hospitality and help the event run smoothly. Support volunteers will not be participating in the gathering sessions or activities. They will be assisting with facility setup and cleanup, food service, worship music, photography, publicity, and other roles. Each of these groups have different levels of registration. The participant and volunteer registration application are completed by all of our friends with intellectual disabilities, their families, and registered volunteers. Connection Ministries is strongly encouraging the use of the online application that can be accessed through the homepage of our website at www.connection-ministries.org. Just click on the Summer Friendship banner on our homepage. The direct support staff and support volunteers are the 2 groups who do not need to complete this application form. This application provides the gathering and friendship group leadership teams and Connection Ministries with important information that includes personal contact information, emergency contacts, descriptions of disabilities, and special dietary needs. This information is necessary for the safety of every participant at the event. It also helps us plan with an accurate meal count and provides us with a liability and photo release. The participant and volunteer registration application reassures friendship leaders that there will be enough registered volunteers, family members, and direct support staff to provide for the needs of our friends with disabilities that have registered. No one wants to limit the number of friends who can attend. The online application allows participants to register for this year's Summer Friendship Gathering and for the Summer Friendship groups that start in the fall, all at the same time. You will need to check the box for both the gathering and your friendship group at the beginning of the application and select the locations. This will update your application for both ministries. The authorization for a criminal background screen is only required for the registered volunteers who are 18 years of age or older. It is not required for our friends with intellectual disabilities, their families, and direct support staff, or the support volunteers. Registered volunteers who complete a criminal background screen reassures families and service providers that your church is doing their very best to protect its friends with disabilities from potential abuse or neglect. It can also protect your congregation from criminal negligence because they have taken these precautionary steps. The last screen on the online application has a checkbox to authorize Connection Ministries to perform this background screen through trusted employees, and it will be at no charge to the volunteer or your congregation. It also has a signature line. Your typed name is your signature. The online application provides registered volunteers with a secure way to complete their background screen. Trusted employees who will complete the background screen sends all the volunteers an email invitation with each a personal link to complete your screen. You have 7 days to complete the screen after the invitation is sent. If someone planned to be a support volunteer but later has an interest to participate in the event sessions and small group discussions, they may. However, they will need to talk with the leaders of the friendship group and complete the registration process. Anyone who interacts with our friends with disabilities by participating in the event sessions needs to complete the registration process as a registered volunteer. For this reason, last-minute walk-in volunteers can only serve in a support volunteer role. A registration table will be ready to receive guests at 5:30 p.m. Friends with disabilities, their families, direct support staff, and volunteers that have registered will find name tags that were prepared in advance by Connection Ministries. Along with their name, the tag will include special dietary needs on the front and a schedule on the back. Support volunteers are the people who will be supporting the event with meal donations, food service, worship music, setup, cleanup, and facility coordination. These people do not need to complete the participant and volunteer registration application or the authorization for a criminal background screen. Likewise, members of the church or visitors only attending the worship service also do not need to register. Support volunteers who plan to have dinner with their team need to notify the friendship leaders and the food service team so they have an accurate meal count and are aware of any special dietary needs. Friendship leaders will also need to increase their meal count for the support staff having dinner with the group. Connection Ministries will provide event t-shirts for everyone that has registered for the gathering. This includes our friends with disabilities, their families, and direct support staff, and all registered volunteers. Due to our inability to plan for the number of support volunteers and the cost, Connection Ministries cannot provide event t-shirts for the support volunteers. The gathering that takes advantage of the Thrivent Action Team projects can receive 25 Live Generously t-shirts for each project. These shirts can be given to the support volunteers. For our friends with intellectual disabilities, their families, and direct support staff and volunteers who need to register, please do not put it off. There is so much to get ready for this summer. Connection Ministries will be helping with 10 gathering events, sometimes 2 per week. So we ask that you complete the registration as quickly as possible, preferably before May 15th. There will be a registration cutoff for each event. It is a challenge when applications are received just before or even on the day of the event after everything is printed and packed. Participants who do not register by the cutoff date, which is 2 weeks before the event, may not have a prepared name tag. Friends with the disabilities will be registered that evening by the registration team. It is important that the food service team is notified of any special dietary needs for this late registration. Volunteers who do not register by the cutoff, which is 2 weeks before the event, will not allow enough time for Connection Ministries to complete background screens. These volunteers may only serve as support volunteers. It is easier for friendship leaders to collect applications in the spring while their friendship groups are still in session, and certainly better for Connection Ministries. Connection Ministries will provide friendship leaders with up-to-date rosters as applications are received. It will be necessary to follow up with participants from your group that have not yet registered. At each gathering, Connection Ministries will provide friendship leaders with a roster and copies of applications for everyone who registered at each gathering. These updated applications are good for the upcoming friendship season if the friendship group's church was entered at the top of the application. We also send rosters with special dietary needs 2 weeks before the event. This information will go to the friendship leader or the support volunteer leader who we have as contact information. Connection Ministries will send all of our friends with disabilities confirmation letters about 2 weeks before the event. The letter will contain information about the event with times, dates, and location. It is recommended that the friendship team make reminder phone calls to all of our friends with disabilities, families, and group homes 1 week before their gathering. Confirmation letters will not be mailed to our volunteers. It will be the responsibility of team leaders to remind their volunteer team. Again, we encourage the use of the online application. It eliminates return envelopes, postage, and ensures the application is more accurate, complete, and readable. This online application can be found on our website. If you are unable to register online or need help, contact your friendship group leader, one of the volunteers, or Connection Ministries. If you need to use the handwritten forms, the participant and volunteer registration application, and authorization for criminal background screens, they can still be downloaded from the website. Go to our website at www.connection-ministries.org and click on the Summer Friendship Gathering banner. You can download and print these applications. Please be sure the printed application is complete, accurate, readable, and signed, and return them to Connection Ministries by mail. You are encouraged to review the notes for this presentation. The link can be found on the Connection Ministries website next to this training video. We thank you for your willingness to be part of this year's Summer Friendship Gathering. If you have any questions or need information, you could email us at connect@connection-ministries.org or call our office 317-646-5067. If you would like to provide financial support for the Summer Friendship Gatherings, you can give online at connection-ministries.org.